What's up, guys? It is Samim. I'm here with my client Molly, and just wanted to really share some amazing wins that she's had over the course of our time working together. I just wanted to introduce her again and kind of dive into the bigger story behind all the stuff that has happened, and yeah, just really share some awesome stuff. So, Molly, can you kind of tell us who are you and what do you do? Who do you work with?
So my name is Molly Van Marth. And first of all, I've been in your program for over 2 years now at this point. I'm an online health and fitness coach, and I work with business owners and executives. So yeah.
So, in terms of when we started, what do you feel like was your biggest challenge just with this entire process, whether it's life or just business overall? What was that for you?
I mean, when I jumped in with you 2 years ago, I was completely new. I had done some in-person coaching and training. Like I felt like I was knowledgeable with health and fitness and nutrition specifically is what I'm really passionate about, but had no idea how to do online coaching. And basically I was trying on my own to get clients off of Facebook and Instagram is primarily where I was. And that process was painful for numerous reasons. I mean, first of all, my strategy was pretty much post as much as possible. And like I was trying to give a lot of value. I was almost trying to coach through my posts because I thought that if I could teach people things and show people that I could help them, that would make them want to sign up with me. And it literally like repelled people away because I felt like I was constantly, first of all, I was posting all the time. I was literally trying to post like once or twice a day. So that was exhausting in itself. And then second of all, I was still having to chase people down in DMs, which felt terrible because also like on Facebook and Instagram, it was mainly, family members or friends. And I felt like I just felt very salesy. Like I was trying to track people down and get them to jump in with me. So overall, that part was not fun. But then also if I could get anybody on the sales call, to become a client potentially, it was like, I mean, my close rate was terrible. It was almost never, So I dreaded every step of the process. And also like, it's not like I was afraid to work hard. I was ready to work really hard at this. It was just frustrating because I knew I was failing, but I didn't know why. Like I was posting a lot and I didn't know why my posts weren't working. I didn't know what mistakes I was making in Messenger. And I didn't know why I wasn't closing people on the phone. And also what I was trying to sell for was like a couple $100 per month. So I think overall, the reason I knew it was time to jump in with you was because I kind of looked at my system and my process and I was like, even if I can do this successfully, I'm not going to be making enough money. Like I will be overwhelmed with low ticket clients, even if I can be successful with this. So that was ultimately how I knew it was time to, yeah, sign up for you.
Yeah, it's crazy how many people will look around the market and they'll see other people doing something, and whether they see another coach or they'll see another coach they think is doing well and they like copy them, or it's just very interesting how like you really do have to like follow a certain process because otherwise you're not going to become an expert and learn the right way. But I think kind of the next step is like, what were some of your fears jumping in? Because obviously, with all that being said, you probably also had some like reservations as to like, okay, well, what if this doesn't work? And what about that kind of struck a chord with you before you started?
I mean, well, first of all, can I talk about the transition, like what it actually felt like transitioning from Instagram and Facebook over to LinkedIn? Well, and another thing that I was going to say too, because like I've been in the beginning of this and I know what that feels like. The other thing that made me know that your program was what I wanted to be doing and what I wanted to learn how to do is because I saw people in your program making high ticket sales. And also I knew they were people like me. Like I liked what I saw happening in your program. And I was like, okay, it's either my way and basically like quantity over quality, and I'm going to exhaust myself, or these people over here making like a few high ticket sales per month, making a great living, working with people off of LinkedIn. And like the LinkedIn idea seemed amazing, but I had absolutely no idea. Like I didn't even have a LinkedIn profile. I had absolutely nothing built on LinkedIn, had no idea how it worked. Like it was a foreign thing to me, but because I knew what you were teaching, I knew that that was the system that I wanted to learn. And shifting from, again, Instagram and Facebook over to LinkedIn, looking at the process. And it was crazy too, because like I was afraid because I had nothing built on LinkedIn that it would take a long time for me to have a presence on there. I thought, okay, I'm willing to work at this. Like this is probably going to take a long time for me to get any action on here, but like, I'm willing to invest time into it because I like that system better. I was actually really surprised that like pretty quickly after making the shift, and for me to post the right content, which that's another story of what the right content really is. I was posting a lot less. So sometimes even just a couple times per month, but was quickly able to get over $4,000 clients off of LinkedIn. And that was my very first beginning starting sales. Meanwhile, on Facebook and Instagram, I would struggle to sell $300 packages. And overall, another thing was that, again, every step of the way, I enjoyed more. So my conversations in Messenger were way more direct. Like overall, people on LinkedIn, they're professional, they're invested in themselves. They don't beat around the bush. So yeah, you're going to have some people that aren't interested, but overall, like, you know, very quickly when someone is interested. And just the attitude of people on LinkedIn, again, very invested. And what's cool too, I guess I can go into what my fears were. My primary fear was that I was going to switch from Instagram and Facebook, where I was kind of able to scrape together some sales, but like not very good. I was afraid that I was going to transition to LinkedIn and it was just going to be like, you know, no new clients for a long time. That wasn't true. But also I noticed that the people on LinkedIn were looking for premium services. So it was like the perfect match. If I would have tried to sell a $300 package that I was trying to sell like on Instagram and Facebook, on LinkedIn, I would have had people literally, that would have been perfect clients, turn me down because it wasn't a premium, more like luxury, high-end service. So yeah, I mean, initial fears, I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to sell the higher ticket packages. That ended up being I had the perfect offer on the perfect platform, and I was the right coach for the right people. So when all of those things lined up, like, again, I was really surprised that I did make over $4,000 sales quickly in the beginning, like right off the bat from LinkedIn. But I think the other fear that I had too was that once I did it, I believed that I could, you know, make higher ticket sales. And again, I saw people in your program doing it, so I knew it was possible. But then the other fear, just as a coach and wanting to really believe in what I do, I wanted to make sure that my program was actually what business owners and executives, again, that's my target clientele. I wanted to make sure that what I had was what they wanted. And I wanted to genuinely do a good job. For me, like, I take a lot of pride in what I do. I like to do good work. And so I didn't want to be making a lot of sales, making really good money, but having like shitty testimonials. I would have felt really bad about that. So I think one of the biggest advantages from being in your program compared to, I had also done a general business program, an online general business coaching program, comparing the two, which it didn't really grow at all. One of the things that was so helpful having access to you and again, your program, is that you have done this before. You've worked with the people I'm working with before. So any questions I had as far as how do I even deliver an online fitness program? Like, how do I coach people exercises online? Is that even a thing? How do I set up the nutritional piece of this? Because that's really important to me. And just learning about like what their problems are, which, you know, now I've been doing it for a couple of years. I am truly an expert. I have a lot of experience with these guys now, but I just had a lot of fears that they were gonna have questions and they were gonna need things from me that I didn't know how to answer, or they were gonna need stuff from me that I didn't know how to give them. And anytime I had gaps in something that, you know, I didn't know, I was able to directly ask you for help. And you're brilliant. You know these things. You've had a successful online fitness business before. And so it was just nice to be able to go directly to you and get, you know, high value answers to give to my clients. And I think that in itself gave me a lot of belief and a lot of confidence. So
yeah, I think it's pretty crazy to see. I mean, even with you getting your clients on LinkedIn, like that was like just the beginning. I think sometimes people think like as soon as you start getting clients, you're like, now everything's solved. But like that's actually the beginning of you mastering the process, which I think people don't realize. Like there's a certain offer for a certain type of person. And now as you're starting, you're developing it over time, which it really starts when you get your clients, right? I think people are like, oh, I need to know this all before I get a client. But like, no, the funny part is like to attract a good client, you have to have the right messaging. You have to be on the right platform. You have to have the right coaching. And then as you get this client, you become what you're trying to be as you help them. Because we have the expertise, like it's easier for us to help you with that off the bat. But I think some people think they need to have something ready before they start something like this, when like this is the whole path, like kind of starting from when you get them to as you serve them, which you've done a really good job of, like asking a lot of questions. You're really detail oriented. You make sure that you understand everything, not just like only a little bit, but you did it as you went, which I think a lot of people don't realize. Like that's what you do. Even if you were starting off with no experience with executives, you understood how to help people, and you applied it to the right psychographic and the right platform. So, in terms of your results, like what have you been able to bring in over the last 24 months? It's pretty crazy.
I actually checked the other day. It's over $724,000 in the past 2 years.
Right.
Mhm.
Like no paid advertising. That's all from like
From
pretty much
nothing. Yeah. And I mean, financially, I was at square -1 starting this. So yeah, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I just think people don't believe it's possible. And I think, you've done it without paid ads, you've done it without anything really crazy, like just the right combination of messaging. And then obviously you've developed a great service over time. But I just think people don't realize that if you have good messaging and the right offer and the right communication, like people will reach out to you, people will be excited to talk to you, and they will 100% sign up with you at a premium. And then only then can you jump to paid ads, which now you're starting. But it's been 24 months and you haven't had to do any paid ads to do that, which is insane.
You know what I was going to say too is people, and this is something I had no idea. I was thinking, okay, eventually I'll be making, higher ticket sales off of LinkedIn. First of all, I don't charge under 10K for anything that I do now. Sold a $22,000 package for 6 months. And then actually, and this is what I wanted to say, making low ticket sales on Facebook and Instagram was very dead end. Like nothing really came after making the sale. Being on a platform like LinkedIn and learning how to optimize your content and the way you talk and the way you think in your conversations with people for that type of high-end client on LinkedIn. What's cool is that when you do get a client for a high ticket client on LinkedIn, your referrals from that person, if you do a good job with them, which we all aim to do, your referrals are going to be automatically very high value people who are also going to want to invest in their health and fitness. It's automatically any referrals that you get from your clients off of LinkedIn are going to be in the, thinking in terms of premium services. So that makes that process easier. But also for me, which is not something I expected, I'm connecting with people who run companies and own businesses. And so actually this past year, worked one-on-one with a CEO. He was wanting one of my highest tier package, which was $22,000 for 6 months. Took him through that. He loved it. Well, he has a company here. And then I ended up closing a $100,000 package for his leadership team because he wanted me to coach them. So you got to realize too, like when you're investing in Facebook and Instagram versus investing in LinkedIn. And again, it's the way that I'm posting, right? It's the way I'm having conversations. So it's the method I'm using on LinkedIn too. It's exponentially better. And just brings in a lot more money just through, networking and stuff like that. But another thing I was going to say is that learning, like optimizing for LinkedIn, what's cool is that it also has brought in people from Instagram. It's more passive because I'm still focused on LinkedIn, but because I've optimized the way that I'm showing up and I post that stuff, passively to Facebook and Instagram. What's crazy is that the people I attract on Facebook and Instagram have started to look more like the people on LinkedIn. That's cool. So yeah, it's again, I could say it over and over, but like learning to do it this way is beyond worth it.
Yeah. People don't realize that like, here's the truth, right? LinkedIn is the core, but like people exist everywhere. But if your messaging isn't correct across the board, you're never going to get that congruence across the board. And I think most people don't have good messaging. They don't know where to find customers. And LinkedIn allows them to really hone in on that and actually get results there to where then they expand. They understand how that has to be everywhere to garner the same results. And it does catch up. It does start to compound on all platforms, but you have to start the right way for long enough for that to actually matter. So it's really cool to see that now full circle, you're becoming an expert known for a specific type of client, which means that maybe you're not able to find them on Facebook and Instagram as easily, right? So like on Instagram and Facebook, you have to go to groups or you'd have to go on search hashtags, which is really indirect. On LinkedIn, you can be very direct. But what happens is when your messaging now is good, those people find you. So it's a cool, like kind of full circle moment where it's starting to really pay off for you. And then with paid ads, it's going to be the same. Now it's going to become a really, scalable thing for you because it's really congruent. So what would you say to somebody who is in a similar position, or who's maybe like that type A detail oriented person who wants to win and they know they're capable, but they're just not sure what to do?
I think, well, if I think back to, hindsight's 2020, it's easy to see everything looking back. But I think if I was talking to myself, like in the beginning of this, where I was kind of debating on, am I going to try to do this myself, or am I going to join Sameem's program? Like, what do I do? It's interesting that I thought I was choosing between doing it myself and being successful on my own versus joining your program and being successful in your program. Looking back, I would have been treading water for a while on my own, and then I probably would have given up and not made it or gone some other direction. Because what I thought was important, again, posting all the time, I thought it was really important to have like a really beautiful website, which is fine. Like these are, you're gonna be posting, and sure, you can have a website if you want one, but like the details, and I'm a very detailed person and I get really tunnel focused. Like I really want to do a good job. I get very obsessive with the way things look and I want everything to be perfect. I would have gotten caught up on so many of the wrong things. And again, things like that seem like a good idea, like posting value, teaching people about food, teaching people about workouts. That was not the answer. And so I think it's just really important that, kind of like, I mean, if there's fitness coaches watching this, it would be like someone coming to us going like, hey, I'm thinking about, signing up with you as a coach. I want to get into better shape, but I'm also debating on just like using a juice cleanse to get into like really fantastic shape. We're over here going like, it's not going to work no matter how hard you try, no matter how well you stick to that system. Like, it's just not going to get you all of the way there. That's kind of what I was doing in the beginning, where I thought that if I just worked hard enough and showed up enough and did it long enough, I was like, surely that will add up to something, right? And I don't think it would have. So not only is this way, I mean, again, the whole process just feels so much better. I love LinkedIn. I love my clients. It really is. It's amazing. Like the more you invest in this system, again, it exponentially gives back to you. And I mean, I've loved the process even more than I would have guessed in the beginning. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, it's really funny because people think like, oh, well, I'm just gonna go start a LinkedIn. I'm just gonna start messaging people. It's like so far from the truth that it's almost like LinkedIn is the very tip of the iceberg. And a lot of people think that, oh, cool, I'm at the tip. If I just go message people and reach out to them and promote my services, then surely they'll sign up at a premium. It's just so much deeper than that. And if you do it like that, you're going to burn out your audience, and you're going to basically burn out the people who would have bought the right thing from you because you didn't approach them the right way. You didn't have the right process. It really is like layers deep. And only like a smart, driven person realizes that you can't just go throw stuff at the wall and expect for like those people to respond well. Like it has to be strategic. It has to be high value. It has to be perceived the right way too. Otherwise, you're going to go burn out an audience. Now, you're kind of even in a worse position when you started. And I think it's just cool to see you've like done it really kind of full circle at this point, and now you're going to scale even more, which is really cool. But I mean, you did it with, the minimal possible stuff you could have had in the beginning, and now it's getting bigger and bigger because you've followed through and you've worked really hard. Obviously, like it's not like this is a quick fix, but I believe it is the quick fix in relation to whatever's out there right now.
I just think that like it's so funny because like your strong points are also always your weak points, right? So like that is who I am. I'm someone who's willing to work really hard, and I was ready to do that in the beginning. But if I would have relied on that as my sole strategy, is like just working hard and showing up no matter what, it's like the person that's going to the gym, and is doing the same workouts and looks the same year after year. Congratulations, you're showing up and you're being consistent, and that's a great trait, but it doesn't necessarily equal success. And I think another thing, just even beyond like having a system that works, because you've got it down to a system, right? Like it's a system that we know works. It is so much more about psychology than I realized. And I think that's what I've been so grateful to learn is again, just the thought process behind how to attract your ideal client. And once you learn that thought process, which is something that you really had to teach me, you showed me how to get into the minds of my clients. And that's why everything changed for me. Again, like my content, the stuff that I was posting, way higher quality and higher value to the people I wanted to attract, just posting a couple times a month or once a week, as opposed to posting every single day and like no one really needing what I was putting out there. And yeah, there's different ways to do it. Like each person's process is going to be unique to them, and you're going to be able to speak, you know, in your own words, but there is definitely a right way and there is a wrong way to do it. There is successful content that really works, and there's like content that's really not helping you. And so I've just been grateful to be able to ask you, and I still do. Like, even though I'm an expert at this point, I get it, I know how it works, you know, and I'm confident in it, I still ask you, like, what do you think about this post? What can I tweak here, you know, to speak better to my person? Yeah, and I think people just need to realize too, like, time passes quickly, and I think, you know, beyond showing me how to be successful with all of this, it's sped up the process way faster than I would have ever expected. So yeah, just being able to ask you questions for whatever step of the process, content, messaging, if I have a sales call, you know, coming up that I'm nervous about, or I need to know how to handle it. Like, you've always helped me. You've always brought to light things that I wouldn't have thought of myself, again, because you've done it. So
Yeah, for sure. I think people don't realize, like, when it comes to content, there's multiple stages of awareness. There's multiple mindsets of why someone's going to work with you. And you can't just speak to one of their mindsets. You have to really look at it as a bigger picture. And then sales are the same. Like, on a sales call, like, the way you offer something matters. Like, it's just it's almost like people lose by death by a thousand cuts, right? They're like, oh, it's just this one thing. But then that one thing leads to 4 other wrong things. And then now, is it one thing anymore? It's like 5 other things. And it's just you just can't have ego in this process, because you're like, oh, well, if that person's succeeding, they must be just charging a lot and just giving a lot of people. But that's just never the case. It really is strategic. And I think you've just done an excellent job. So yeah, thank you so much for obviously hopping on today and working so hard. I think that you're a testament to, like, literally starting at zero, like you're doing group classes, to now, you know, you're on your way to a 7-figure business that will absolutely change people's lives. And you'll have a blast doing it, because you're attracting the right people. They're paying you a lot of money and they're happy with the results they're getting. And I think that's what any coach wants, is they want people to be like, you charge me a lot, and I'm so grateful you did that, because it's the only time I've actually followed through with something that I really care about. And I think that that's just, it's not about charging a lot of money. It's about really knowing how to coach, lead, and inspire the right people to take action. And when you do that, it's just, business is fun, because you're not always thinking like, where's my next client, or are they happy, and all these things that just go through your mind. You're able to just keep implementing and getting better, and it becomes a lot more sustainable. So
awesome. Yeah, definitely. I've also just appreciated being on the inside of your program, because I've been able to see that, like, this has helped me be successful. And so it's been a good model for me to learn, you know, how a business runs and how I can help my clients better too. So it's just, yeah, it's been a good learning process all the way through. I appreciate all the help.
yeah. Well, guys, you know, this is kind of Molly's story over the last 24 months, and it's possible for anybody, right? Is this a quick fix? No, it's definitely hard work, but we give you a holistic suite from how do we do your program? What does the marketing look like? What is your messaging? Where do you find customers? Like, it's really everything. And it's true mentorship. This isn't just a course where we're like, here's a course, good luck. We really help you to where, like, you understand, right? And this is not like Zoom one-on-one training. She's doing consulting and advising, which is the model we teach. It's the only way to get out of time for money long-term, and also deliver a high quality service at the same time. So yeah, Molly, thank you so much for hopping on today, and look forward to seeing what you do next.
Of course. Thanks so much.